1, 2, 3, 4.
Good morning, everyone. Hello, everyone. This is Jewish Talk on 90.3 WHPC, coming to you live from NASA Community College, streaming live right here. And, of course, you can see us and hear us on the iHeart and TuneIn apps, and right now on Facebook Live. And all week long, this program is archived, rebroadcast on Spreaker.com. Yes, this is Rabbi Pearl. Good morning to Jonathan Wolf, who is just back from his wonderful trip to the United Kingdom. Thank you so much. Welcome to Dr. Kolshevsky and everybody joining us this morning. Today, we're going to be discussing the unique Jewish calendar that we find ourselves in. Right now, we're in the third day of the month, the Jewish calendar month of Menachem Av. And it is a very contrasting, I should say, month, because we go from lamentations to opportunities. So welcome, everyone, and if you'd like to post your comments or ideas on Facebook Live, we are more than happy to address them from time to time. And, of course, everybody listening out there on the radio, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We're now in what is known as the 9 days. It's the saddest time in the Jewish calendar. And to reflect the sadness that relates to the destruction of the temple, this coming Sunday, a week from today, will be the Tisha B'Av, a fast day that begins actually on Shabbos afternoon at 8:20 p.m. and will conclude on Sunday, July the 22nd at 8:53 p.m. It is an amazing and a very important fast day. And in running up to that, this week, because of the destruction of the temple, when the sacrifices weren't brought and there was no more wine libations, we do not have any meat or chicken this week or drink wine throughout the week. Of course, next Shabbos, yes, but during the week, we are in this mourning mode over the destruction of the temple. And today we're going to discuss more how, interestingly, this month of Menachem Av has so many contrasts, and the broader picture on why it seems that suffering for the Jewish community and throughout history only intensifies itself. Why should this be? So the month of Av is a month of contrasts. We lament, of course, the destructions, yet at the same time we're promised renewal, because on the very same day that with the destruction of the temple, we know that the Messiah was born, the Mashiach was born. We experience in this month both bitter and sweet, sadness and joy. In fact, the month itself is called Menachem Av. The first word, Menachem, means comfort, which gives us encouragement that despite it all, our Father, or our Av, in heaven is with us. Menachem Av. Let's explore how can we, during this most serious time, tap into this added aspect of comfort. We lament destruction, yet we are promised renewal. How should we view these dark moments, personally and collectively? How do we draw strength and find good in every situation that we find ourselves in as a nation? So let's take some wholesome perspective when we take a look at the origins of good and evil, sadness and joy, and sometimes the fusion of both. You see, everything in this world has a shell. Let's take fruits and nuts, for example. Some peels, husks, or shells are coarse and prickly, like a pineapple or a coconut. Others are sweet, and some may be sour, though we can incorporate them, some of the stuff into our food. Nuts, by contrast, all have a hard shell. The Hebrew word for shell or outer layer is klipa, impurity. Practically, a shell is a protection allowing what's inside to grow, protecting it from various elements. There are fruits created with a very hard shell to crack, while others can be soft and edible. Underneath the surface, though, they're all unique and necessary vitamins and minerals. Spiritually, this is also a metaphor for life. You see, everything in essence is good. Yet sometimes the packaging makes it difficult to unearth. Sometimes there are situations that seem far from ideal, though we can privy to the eventual positive outcome. Other times we may never feel that we're a benefit benefiting from that juicy fruit that's underneath the bitter shell. Now, the almond has a special significance in this month of Av, Menachem Av. And there are various lessons that we can learn from its harvesting and its taste. See, an almond has a hull, a shell, and a nut inside. The hull opens while on the tree. However, the shell is fully closed and needs to be manually opened to retrieve that nut. There are those almonds that are bitter at the outset and after ripening become fully sweet. And there are those that are sweet at the outset and when fully ripened become bitter. I share this with you because the historical significance of an almond appears in the prophecies of Jeremiah, who's the author of the book of Lamentations that is read on Tisha B'Av. He lived during the time of the first temple, and in his prophecies regarding the destruction of the temple, he sees a staff of almonds. Like almonds, which blossom early in the spring, this vision serves as a warning that they should waste no time in changing their direction and, of course, to repent. Unfortunately, they didn't listen to Jeremiah's warnings, and eventually his words rang true, and much suffering and destruction of the Holy Temple on the 9th day of Av, now as known as Tisha B'Av. All this happened when the Holy Temple was constructed together with its holy vessels. The almond is also mentioned when God explains to Moses how to construct the menorah. So you see the almond, and my point is the almond comes up time and time again. Where do we see this in reference to the construction of the menorah? We see this when God speaks to Moses and says, build a menorah. It says the following: 3 cups shaped like almond flowers with buds and blossoms are to be on one branch, 3 on the next branch, and the same on all 6 branches extending from the center lampstand. And on the menorah base, there are to be 4 cups shaped like, again, almond flowers with buds and blossoms. So again, we see this reference constantly to almonds. This menorah with its almond flowers, together with the golden table of the tabernacles and the entire Holy Temple, were destroyed in this month, bringing mourning and sadness in its wake that has lasted for many generations. The almond, however, teaches us that this month's message is not necessarily all sad, but one of growth and of blossoming. Just to add more to that, it takes the almond almost 21 days from the time it blossoms until the time it ripens. What's the significance of 21? This corresponds to the 3 weeks. This very sad period that we're in right now that lasts for 3 weeks. 3 weeks equals 21 days, leading to Tisha B'Av. The nuts of Jeremiah's prophecy start out as bitter, and when they ripen are sweet. They're called shekadim. The shell is always bitter, even for the sweet almonds. At times, our task in life is to unveil the sweetness and enjoy the fruits of our labor. On a deeper level, we are to crack or remove the negativity until the positivity, the godly spark, the purpose for which it was created, is now revealed. The Zohar relates that in the beginning the world was like a fruit, the meat of the fruit surrounded by a shell. When Adam and Eve ate from the forbidden tree, they effectively confused the shell and the fruit. Everything they were to encounter from then on would be a contrast of positive and negative, such as childbirth. A world that was once a euphoric garden, the Garden of Eden, or as we call it on Long Island, Garden City, now became a jungle. So in order to bring back its garden state, we need to decipher what is the shell and what is the essence. How can an individual have an effect on the world and restore it? Each and every one of us have the ability to restore it back to its original Eden environment. Guess what? The Torah preceded the creation of the world. Torah is the GPS, the roadmap to help us sift through life, offering guidance and direction. There's an expression that God prepares the cure before the sickness. In other words, When faced with a problem, the solution already exists. We just have to discover it. What about the types of situations when we can't find answers from within Torah? It is important to note there is no answer to tragic events of any proportions throughout our history. It's not revealed to us at this stage. In fact, no answer would suffice. On the one hand, we need to have faith that God runs the world and everything is by divine providence. On the other hand, it would seem callous to sit back and witness suffering. Where do we fit in? How can we help to bring the sweet fruit out into the open when the confusion and often tragic state of affairs is, what do we see, is hard, obstructed shells? Throughout the ages, many leaders, including Moses and Abraham, have not just accepted our people's faith, but have argued with God about senseless suffering. God doesn't want us to tolerate darkness. We are a diminished, so to speak, Sabra people who have experienced some of the most difficult of times. Yet we're also tough and resilient, and inside compassionate and loving. That's why they call a lot of Israelis Sabras, right? Tough on the outside, but soft and compassionate and loving on the inside. We feel uneasy witnessing another pain. While other empires have virtually disappeared, we just keep on going, remaining alive and strong. Yes, there is a place for prayer and tears, but it's also incumbent upon us to do our part in making a real and an effective change. We're always in the right place at the right time to contribute our individual strengths to our environment. We only need to wipe off our foggy glasses, and recognize those opportunities in our everyday life. God doesn't want us to tolerate darkness existing in this world. Yet, our significant role is to restore this world to a pure Eden, to a Gan Eden, before the infamous sin that came around and created all kinds of impurities. Even in exile, we have the ability to reveal the light that's hidden in the darkness. We can achieve this through various avenues. We can in order to pray to eliminate suffering and unfairness, like our forefathers told us. We can also venture to break through the negativity and peel away the hard shell, only to find the inner sweetness, its fruit. So thanks to the humble almond that advances from bitter to sweet, and to our GPS, the Torah, which sheds light on how to access that sweetness, this month of Av, although traditionally bitter, right, this whole week, especially it's the run-up to Tisha B'Av, where we have a full day fasting. That means starting 8:20 p.m. on Saturday, right? Saturday, the Shabbos doesn't end till about 9 or a little after 9. But as soon as it comes sunset, we're already fasting. That's how serious this day is. Nevertheless, with all of its traditional bitterness, it also has the ability to morph into a month of opportunity. It's only up to us, with our individual and collective strengths, to reveal the inner good in everything and replace this bitter with sweet. When the third temple will be rebuilt in its majestic gold, almond flowered menorahs will be there, representing our final triumph of good over evil, that will radiate light and harmony in the world. In a Gan Eden, we'll be back in Garden City with an unbelievable euphoria. Only this time, it'll be through the great efforts of our people, through the ages, to peel away all the dark shells of exile and find holiness and light. And I want to thank everybody for their comments that we have here coming up on Facebook Live. Thank you, Jonathan. You're right on target. So here we have, this coming Sunday, week from today, just to a program thought or announcement. Remember, the actual 9th day of Av is actually next Shabbos. But Shabbos we don't fast, so it's pushed off to Sunday. But next Sunday, that is called Tisha B'Av, in the year 17 CE, the Roman legions in Jerusalem smashed through the fortress tower of Antonia into the holy temples and set it afire. In the blackened remnants of the sanctuary lay more than the ruins of the great revolt, and it appeared as if Judaism itself had been shattered upon, beyond repair. Just to give you an idea, out of the approximately 4 to 5 million Jews in the world at that time, over 1 million died in that abortive war for independence. Many died of starvation, others by fire and crucifixion. So many Jews were sold into slavery